Great. So we appreciate everybody coming in, and I have the pleasure of being able to lead off Swine Day here today. And we really thank everybody that makes the effort to come down to Manhattan here and spend the day with us. As you guys know, it'll be a fast-paced day, and so there'll be a lot going on. We'll be passing the mic between speakers rather rapidly. For those that are standing, there's plenty of spots up here in front. Lori, you're standing for two of you. There's chairs for you. Okay. But, we're going to get rolling right here. There's lots of opportunities throughout the day to interact with us from the faculty that you see up here. There'll be a lot of graduate students you've seen floating on the slides. Don't forget the sponsors that have the booths out there in the trade show area as well, too. They've dedicated some time and some resources to be here to be able to help educate you with what they do. And so we'd really appreciate if you spend some time visiting with them as well, too. And so why are we here? So it's Swine Day, right? And so from a scientist standpoint, we really think this is why we're here, right? It's the data. It's 45 papers, 47 experiments, a little over 80,000 pigs that we'll be talking about today that have been on test for us. And so, again, we're not going to talk about every one of these in detail, but already if you go to K-State or KSUSwine.org, you can find the full reports of what we'll be talking about. And so all the details will be right there for you if you want to dig in a little bit deeper. As we're talking about today, especially during Joel's talks, there's not going to be a whole lot there probably with him. But especially afterwards anyways, make the time to go in there and go. But the other reasons that we're here, it's tradition, right? And so this is the 55th Swine Day that we've had here at Kansas State University. And to the best of our knowledge, this is the longest running extension swine-focused program in the nation. And probably in the world for that matter right there. And so being able to continue to do this and have this much of a support, I'm a little bit biased. I think it gets a little bit better every day or every year. How about probably every day too. But we're glad again to have you here and help continue this tradition. One of the traditions that we did start last year was inviting some of our PhDs to come up and talk about some of their research. And we're going to continue that this year as well too. And so after I'm finished, you'll see Maddie Wensley up here. Later on in the morning, Johnson Rao, and then after lunch, Bo Williams will be talking about some of their research. And so glad to have them on the docket here. The other reason we're here is family, right? It's this. It's everybody right here. And it's a really big part of K-State tradition and family. It's a really, really, really big part of K-State swine nutrition. So we're glad that all of you can be here as our family. This is our family reunion on an annual basis. And we'll talk a lot about tradition and talk a lot about family during the day. And so, I'm going to start out right here talking about some of the crew that I get to work with out at the swine farm. And so Mark Nelson, Dwayne Bauman, they've been around for a number of years. A lot of what you see up here on the screen as we're talking about data, a lot of it happens because of the people that are behind the scenes. You don't hear from these people, you don't see them very much, but they're really the ones that are pushing the envelope and helping us do what we do and making us better. They're also the ones that are picking up after us and doing our laundry on a daily basis. So we really appreciate everything that they do to make our program successful. We've got a new face on here as well too, Camden. We're really fortunate to have Camden come join our team. It's hard to find a person with some pig background that lives in the Manhattan area and that wants to work on a hog farm. But we got it done with Cam, and he's been a tremendous asset for us, and being able to bring him in to be able to support the team. And the reason that he's here is because of Frank Jennings. And so Frank spent 15 years with us, really dedicated his time here in Manhattan to helping out with our Farrowing House and our nursery programs. Frank retired in July, and so unfortunately Frank can't be with us here today. He really took retirement to heart. He's on his way to New York for Thanksgiving Day parade and enjoying his time being away from pigs right now. But Frank did a lot for us, and one of the things that I really appreciate that we were able to do for Frank is that we're able to get the new Farrowing House up and built before he actually retired. And so he's standing here in the new Farrowing House. It was a lot of years. He's like, we were talking about the new project, and he's like, is it going to get done? Is it going to get done? I want to retire. And some days we'd say, yes, we're going to have it. And then the next day it's like, oh, it's kind of slowing down. But we got it done. And he spent almost a year in that new Farrowing House. And he really enjoyed the opportunities to be in there. And it's something I'm going to talk the next couple of minutes about that Farrowing House. And the opportunity to be able to improve our program based on building that facility has just been tremendous. And you can see it right here. And a lot of what we have right here also was because of the support of Midwest Livestock. And Midwest was the general contractor for our Farrowing House, but also our new nursery. I say new nursery, Joel. It came online in 2014, and so it's already 8 years plus of pigs pigs going through those doors. And so they've done a tremendous job of being able to come in and navigate the labyrinth of working with the university and state building projects. And if anybody hasn't been involved with that and you want to lose some hair or grow old really fast, volunteer for that project next time, because it's not a pleasant experience, and it's a heck of a lot more difficult than if you're going out and building a commercial barn somewhere out there as well too. But Midwest did a tremendous job, and a lot of the reason that they did that job is because of Barrie Luers. And Barrie's been a real asset to us, a part of our K-State family, a friend of the program. Barrie is retiring from Midwest, and actually this trade show right now is Barrie's last trade show. And so he's had, I think, over 26 years in the swine industry and the poultry industry and the animal industry, helping people grow their facilities and expand their production. And Barrie's just a tremendous individual. Barrie wears the red on the weekends, which I still don't understand why, but he has purple clothes on that he wears as well too. And so Barrie, we really appreciate what you've done for us here at K-State. The industry appreciates what you've done for the animal industry, and we sure hope you have a great retirement after you're done. And I'd sure encourage everybody to go pass some good wishes, and if you have any good ideas of what he should be doing after the trade show, after he's got some free time, let him know what you think he should do, and he's an awesome guy. The new Farrowing House, you've been hearing about us talk about this for the last couple years. Last year at Swine Day, we kind of introduced it, and it's been a tremendous asset to us. And so it's a facility that came online, a little over a year ago right now. It's a facility that has 32 farrowing crates in it, modern facility. The old facility that we replaced was built in 1968, and so we can't underestimate the value that this actually brought to us, both from a production standpoint, but from a performance, from just a general working condition situation. It's been a great asset for us. And so a little bit inside, again, 32 crates right here, have the just stall feeder systems in here to help monitor feed intake, but a lot of room. It's a lot of space in here that we can be able to collect a lot of data, push scales, push carts throughout. What I really like though too, it's we went with an 8x6 crate, heat mats in here. It's a lot better environment for those sows, and it's really shown from a production standpoint through the system. And so being able to get into a facility like this, generate the information that we're going to talk about today, do it in an area that we actually like being in. It got to be pretty glim in the old Farrowing House there at the end, but it served its life and it served its purpose, but this is really allowing us to carry on to the future. And it really shows with what we've done from a productivity standpoint as well too. And so we've had 12 groups of sows through the new Farrowing House. And so when we look at what we've done just by moving animals from the old environment to a new environment, this is comparing the first 12 groups in the new Farrowing House to the last 2 groups of the old Farrowing House. Dropped pre-wean mortality by about 3 percentage points right there, just by moving facilities. Same genetics, same feed, basically, same management, just a new environment, putting those animals in a better condition than where they want to be. Increased weaning weights, a little over a half a pound, a good bit more over a half a pound. And so, some people can look at that 12 and a half pound weaning weights, and maybe it's a little bit low. We're a 19 or a sub 19 day wean right here. And so being able to crank out the production of this animal or of this facility right here with the animals we have, this new Farrowing House has really been a tremendous support for us. The biggest reason that we're getting value out of this facility right here is the facility's a mile from campus. Being able to get students in those doors, smiles on their faces when they're actually picking up pigs. That's what we like to see in our industry right here. We couldn't do it if these facilities were somewhere off a campus. We have to have them right here to be able to get undergrads, get graduate students into those facilities with the pigs. This is how we start building our community, building our family in the swine industry, and we have to be able to get students exposed. I was a product of this system right here. I came into school with 0 pig experience. I appreciate what Mark did. At that time we were pitching sheds and we had a lot of animals outside and strawing through the wintertime. I wish we had a Farrowing House like this. I wish we had the facilities like this when I was there. But being able to get students through those doors is what allows us to be able to grow our program. It's what allows us to generate the people that we need in our industry. I know Cassie's going to come in after lunch and talk a little bit more about our undergrad program. The undergrad research program we've done has just been a tremendous asset for being able to expose new people to the swine industry. And so having this facility there, it's been a great help for us. It wouldn't have happened without the generosity of a lot of those people that are in this room. And just wanted to call out, spend a little bit of time calling out all the people that helped donate for this project. And it really started out with Roy and Linda Henry. And so, we've talked about them in the past. They made the decision to reinvest in our program, and they didn't have to do that. But it was really the seed money that helped stimulate this whole project and be able to get it going. Livestock and Meat Industry Council, Kansas Soy Commission, our swine nutrition program all made sizable donations to this project to be able to get it done. The Department of Animal Science also kicked in, and Kansas Pork Association. We can't forget about the contributions they had and what they've done to be able to allow us to have this facility in place. But really wanted to call out this group right here. And so lots of times it's those names that are the unmentioned names, because it's not the biggest donation of the whole project. But every bit counts. Right? And this is our family. If you look at a lot of the people right here, it's past graduate students. It's people that are products of our program that are given back so that we have something for the future. And so can't thank the group right here enough that's chosen to be able to invest some of their money with us, as opposed to going to their beach for their vacation that summertime. And so they did a tremendous job, and really appreciate all that. But it leads us then to the next step. And so what do we have for our program moving forward? And we do have a plan right here. And really, as we look at it, there's two fundamental parts of being able to continue the success and the leadership of our program right now. One of them is endowed professorships and chairs. And this is something that's becoming more and more important at the university level right now. The demand for graduate students coming out of our program is tremendous. Right? Being able to attract the best people to come back to K-State to be able to generate the next generation of best people coming out is going to be essential, and we'll only be able to do it with some sort of an endowed professorship or chair. It's getting to be tougher and tougher at the university level all the time, but we feel that this is a really an essential part to be able to cement our future in the program. We've had some discussions already with different partners to be able to consider these options. Hopefully come next year we'll be able to be naming some of those endowed professorships and chairs, but it's coming. So the next area is facilities. We talked about the Farrowing House. We completed that here in the summer last year. The nursery is the next level right there. We're happy. The Livestock and Meat Industry Council here, part of Kansas State University Animal Science Department, donated $100,000 this year to help stimulate that program going. And with that donation, we're really close to having all the funds completed and ready to be able to build the next new nursery facility. The ones that we have right now is back to the old 1968 model. It was built to house pigs in 1968, and we've changed what we're doing with our industry since then. And so it's had a great life. It's generated a lot of data. It's time to roll it on and modernize that facility as well too. And we'll be starting that project next year. So we'll be building a new nursery next year. The last part of all of our facility modernization projects there at K-State would be one facility that would house our student apartments, classroom, offices, creating a new farm entrance that really is based off of modern biosecurity knowledge and being able to get people in and out of those rooms. And so this is really essential, being able to have students come through. Once you enter those buildings, you guys have all been in swine facilities. Those that have the nice clean shower that's well built, well taken care of, have a different impression on you than the other ones that you don't want to take that shower once you go in. And so, we've got an old facility right now. Being able to, again, improve the image the first time that people come in the door is going to really be essential. But this classroom part's a big key on that as well, too. Getting students to the farm, getting them exposed to pigs is really important for us in the long run. And so, as you've heard in the last couple of years, we're on fundraising campaigns right now. If you all have interest, or the companies that you have or work for have interest in wanting to support these programs, whether it's the endowments or whether it's with our apartment classroom or the tail end of the nursery project, happy to have you come talk to any of us from a faculty standpoint. Casey Drotti, I don't know, is Casey here today? Casey's from the foundation. I don't see her right now, but we can help get you put in contact with the right people to be able to get some of that done if you guys have the interest and the desire. Let's talk about research a little bit right now. And so I told you that we moved in the new Farrowing House. This was actually the first project that we had have conducted in the new Farrowing House. Michaela Spindler had the opportunity to see groups of sows in both the old Farrowing House and the new Farrowing House and be able to conduct this trial. This is a trial we did looking at feed flavor and putting sow diets as a way to increase feed intake of sows. And so we had this set up as the first two groups in our old Farrowing House kind of during the summer months, our new Farrowing House more in the winter months, diets with and without feed flavorants. Basically, you put that feed flavor in those sow diets during those summer months, you'll increase sow feed intake roughly 8% right there. What'd that do for us? Ended up increasing piglet weaning weight right here. You know, just a little bit over, a little bit less than a pound right now. We got additional weaning weight that we got put on those sows during those summer times when the feed intake's depressed right there. And so, you know, one of the things that we saw was an increase in that weaning weight when we moved facilities, we went into the winter months. And it carried through then to the nursery. And so this is a project that was the pigs that were weaned off the second group of those sows, the second group of sows that were through the old Farrowing House, the last group through the Farrowing House. This is initial body weights. If you want to look at this as weaning weights as well too. Basically when you had the feed flavor in those sow diets, we increased the weaning weights by about 1 to 1.1 pounds right there. It's a great opportunity right there to be able to get pigs on test with a higher weight by increasing feed intake of those sows. As we then looked at putting a feed flavor in the nursery diets, did not see any advantage of putting that feed flavor in the nursery diets right here, flavor versus control, the flavor versus control right here. But you did see that that increase in weaning weight was maintained and actually increased as we carried on through the nursery phase right here. And so definitely we talk about it a lot. We talk about maximizing feed intake of lactating sows. This is a product that could work for you if you've got situations there where maybe feed intake is depressed. Continuing on with some of the sow research and kind of the focus on feed intake as well too, JBS opened their doors for us this summer and allowed us to get in and do a study looking at different sow feeders. And so many of you have a tube feeder in your Farrowing House right now. You know, it's managed by increasing or decreasing the depth of that tube to be able to control feed flow. We also compared feeders with the Rotechna ball feeder, and so a sow would push this ball to be able to stimulate feed intake drop. And then we have the Sow Max feeder right here from Hog Slat, and so basically they wiggled this rod right here to be able to put feed out in front of them. And so had a number of sows on test right here in one of the JBS farms. This is feed disappearance throughout the whole trial. Compared to the tube feeder, we saw reduced total feed disappearance when the Sow Max feeder was utilized. The Rotechna feeder had an intermediate response. You know, that carried out on the total feed disappearance as well as average daily gain. And so basically 0.7 of a pound less of feed disappearance, right? So you sit here and think, well, does that mean the sows are eating less? Well, we don't think so. They were still maximizing their feed intake. We had no change in weaning weight of those sows, and so no significant difference in body weight change from placement until weaning, and so they were maintaining sow condition. We also did not see any difference in weaning weight, whether it be from a litter standpoint or from an individual standpoint. And so we ate less feed, but we had the same amount of weight change during lactation. We had basically the same amount of litter weaning weight. And so what that's telling us then is that we're wasting less feed with that Sow Max and intermediate with that Rotechna. And it comes across from a litter feed efficiency. This is very simple. Total litter weight gain divided by feed consumed. More efficient animals on this Sow Max feeder right there. And so again, differentiating maximum feed intake versus maximum feed disappearance. We want that feed going into those sows. We want to minimize the amount of wastage that's going through. And at least on this trial, the Sow Max feeder sure seemed to have the biggest benefit. What would that do from a cost standpoint? Per pig weaned, 20 to 25 cents less per pig weaned in feed costs going through there. From a litter gain standpoint, you know, it's about 15 to 18 cents less per pound of litter weight gain by going to a feeder that wastes less feed. The goal here, though, is to make sure that you've maximized feed intake, but we want to minimize the feed wastage. While we're in there, Johnson also had the opportunity to do some testing on sow drippers. And so this study was conducted in a farm of JBS's in Arkansas during the summertime. It's a hot, humid environment. Barn had cool cells on it though. So we wondered, is there still value to having sow drippers during this environment? Some people think that maybe the drippers don't work when it's a real humid environment as well too. In this particular study, when sow drippers were present, we lost less weight from entry until exit. Body weight change was less when we provided an environment for those sows to be cool, to increase feed intake, to increase litter weight gain. And so that's what we see right here with the drippers. Those sows ate more feed, both on a total farrowing basis as well as on a daily basis, about 1.5 pounds of additional feed intake when we cooled those sows off, even when it was in a hot and humid environment. Litter weaning weight was increased, so that increased feed intake translated into increased milk production, increased litter weight gain. Now I want to finish off right here then as well too, and so we've talked quite a bit of time over the last couple of years about the pig livability project, the pig survivability project. This was a partnership with Kansas State University, with Iowa State University and Purdue. It was a project that was funded by National Pork Board and the Foundation for Food, Ag, Research, and it was a $2 million project where they dedicated time and resources and funds to be able to chase pig livability. And if you're not familiar with it, I really would drive everybody to this website right here, piglivability.org. There's a tremendous amount of resources on that website. We're in the 5th and final year of this project. We'll be having a meeting next month to go and try and stimulate more funding to continue it on. But the amount of information that's already been generated is phenomenal. So you can find a lot of different fact sheets. You can sign up for project updates as they come through. We had a conference last year. All the recordings are right there. There's a lot of different videos right here as well too, and little podcasts to be able to quickly get the information that's been digested and produced through the project. And so really would encourage you guys to go to that website and dig in on that information. And part